It's time for the Court Report, our bi-weekly segment with the Upper Midwest Law Center. They are a nonprofit public interest law firm on the front lines, dedicated to defending constitutional freedoms and the rule of law.
We're lucky enough. We get the big dog in. He is Doug Seaton. He is the founder, the president of Upper Midwest Law Center. He's the guy in charge. Doug, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Al. Thank you for having me again.
No, this is our pleasure. I'm trying to find what I think this is like. You do work every day that could have as big a change on people's lives in Minnesota, and they don't even know you're doing it for them. You know what I'm saying? It's great that you do it. You'll go straight to heaven, but I don't know how to explain it to people. You're out there, like, let's just use the omnibus bill. A lot of us don't even care to talk about omnibus bills, what I do for a living. Okay, we'll talk about it. But the complexity of that someone can vote yes on a bill, but then tell you they really didn't like the part of the bill, but I had to vote. It's this obfuscate. There's the ability to I don't know the word I'm going to hide behind it. Yes, thank you. Yes, to hide behind that is what politicians love about these omnibus bills, right? I don't want to waste my anyway. You guys won with the Midwest Gun Owners Caucus. Hey, you can't do that. The Constitution says you can't, and a judge agreed.
That's right.
Now,
he did.
Complicated law, only they were the ones in front of the judge, so he gets their part kicked out, and if all the others jumped on, they could get this thing blown up and change the way they do things at the Capitol. That's because of Doug Seaton and the Upper Midwest Law Center. That's the kind of stuff you do. It's not sexy, but it's huge, right?
We believe it is. We believe it is. And as you know, this is not their first offense at the legislature. Back under Jesse Ventura, I brought a similar case for a 300-page bill. This was 1,400 pages.
It's just...
They're still at it. It gets worse. They don't behave themselves, and we're hoping we finally got their attention. Now, that remains to be seen. We're not done with this case yet, but we hope so. We hope so.
Isn't that the problem? And I don't want you probably lay awake nights thinking. Isn't that the problem with what you do? Is the judicial branch is so slow to move. Like, so you got it. You won. The thing they did in 2023, you can't do it again. We're rolling on 2026, sir. And 2026, these people are going to continue to do it. I swear to God they will until they blow that whole first one up. How do we know when they stop? When does the Supreme Court have to come in and say, that judge is right, stop it?
The Supreme Court really has to do that, and we're very hopeful they will. As you know, that Gun Owners Caucus case is now up at the appeals court. We're very hopeful we get a good decision. But what's more, we've got other cases brewing. United Healthcare, that's not our case, but United Healthcare is fighting the same fight. We believe also we've got some clients going to step forward, and we'll help them to bring more cases. So we shall see how this goes. We're still fighting about the 24 bill, as you say. Here comes 24. Another session. Here comes another possible violation. But we're keeping an eye on them. You can only hope that what's happened so far, a ringing decision from Judge Castro, a Democratic appointee will tell the offending caucus, I got to say, that's really the DFL. We're nonpartisan, but we call them as we see them. And that's what's happening. They passed that bill. They shouldn't have done it. And now we hope they're going to get a serious setback in the courts. We hope so. Okay. And maybe that'll restrain them, but I have my doubts that it will, unless they get that decision in time.
I don't know, maybe you can't even say this, if I'm asking something you can't answer, don't. But the Paid Family Leave Act in that bill, I believe, is in that bill. If there is one, if there's one business that's having to pay the tax to have one of their people go off, if they're a part of this bill, couldn't they instantly call Upper Midwest Law Center, let us in on this? I'm willing to put my name on it. I think this bill is ludicrous. And you would think that judge would throw it out as well, the whole bill.
Yes, and that is part of what we think is going to happen. We've got a couple of clients who are interested in doing this, and some of them are concerned about the Paid Family Leave bill. The complication is part of it was already passed. There's an augmentation, amendments, and so on in this bill, the omnibus bill. So it wouldn't bring the whole thing down, but it would certainly set them back if we had that challenge made. And we think it will be made. It should be made. And there are plenty more who could come forward. In 1,400 pages, there's an awful lot, lot to fight about.
And that's kind of my point is we got to get to a point where if somebody votes for something, they voted for this, and then you can decide yes, no, up or down, whether you like it or not. Omnibus bills are crazy. And if you read it, I don't remember which one. It's like 14th Amendment. It's like a 2-sentence constitutional thing. This is one subject, one bill. That's all it can be. No, don't change it. It even tells you how to write it doesn't seem that
very short.
I'm not a bright man, but I could see it, and they're not following it. So let's get back to the rule. Now, another deal, and you're kind of working with some high-profile folks, especially in this seat. Dr. Scott Jensen, who ran for governor, 4 years ago, was running. Now he wants to be your auditor. You're up with a bill with him. What are you doing with him, or what is your lawsuit there?
Yes, we're representing the good doctor, and the reason for that, it's not a political case. It's a case about suppressing speech, and we think that cuts for everybody. That's every citizen's right is to speak their mind, particularly during election season. And if a candidate can't do it, who can do it? So Dr. Jensen talks about the things he's not happy about in the COVID shutdown and the COVID prescriptions and protocols. And he's punished for that by the medical board. People are sending in press releases and just criticisms that are political criticisms. And the medical board's investigating them, supposedly. And they've got this constantly going on during the whole campaign. And we say that's just a political suppression campaign. It can't be allowed. We don't know what their intentions were. Maybe they were fine, but you can't do that. And so that's the case we've got. We're going to get a decision on that. And we think it's going to come soon and come well and be in the right direction, we hope. You can't do this. And it's an election year, particularly now.
Talk me through how that works in practice. If Dr. Jensen wins, you and he win because, you know what, it makes sense. He's a doctor. It's on the political trail. He's just trying to tell you his thoughts on COVID or whatever it was. Seems like that's a no-brainer. That's the First Amendment. So you take the lawsuit and you win. He's already lost the election. He's getting back. He's still in the game, but he's already lost the election. The damage is done. Is this just to tell the next guy, don't do it? And he goes, don't do it. Elections are 6 months long, 8 months long. I do it. They sue me. This is the slowness of this business you're in. What do you get out of it on the other side? Because somebody's going, I'll do the same thing. They can't get me before it's over. What are you going to do after you lose?
Well, it's a very good question, and there is challenge in the long time it takes courts to move. Now, whenever we can, we try to bring restraining order and preliminary injunction cases, declaratory judgment cases, so we get an early decision. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes courts are willing to entertain it, sometimes they're not. So here we are, as you said, a couple years down the road from the election, and we're still fighting that case. So it can only be a warning to the next round. Okay. And in that case, we think we would have an opportunity to get that preliminary injunction because we've already got a decision that says what the law is. So that's how it has to work. It's a little, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, 2 feet forward, 1 foot back. That's what it works.
See, what I find fascinating, because maybe this is enough chunks for me, every 2 weeks I get to delve into your world and kind of figure it out because I would be so frustrated if I was you. You're in the right. You read the law. It's there. Sure, we'll get to that in 2 years and give you the verdict you want. That would drive me crazy, sir. I'm very happy that you're doing it and your staff. By the way, how big is Upper Midwest Law Center?
We are now 6 lawyers, so we're very excited about that. And you had our thank you, Rachel Pelosi was on during my time away out of the country. And she's great. She's stepping up as managing attorney. And we have the rest of the gang, so we can do a lot of fighting, and we're planning to do it this year because there's going to be a lot to fight, I'm afraid. Just today, we've got an argument going on. We've got Nick Nelson will step in and argue for Polly Sorkin, who is a school board member up in the Rock Ridge District, Eveleth, and Iron Range, basically, who's been suppressed. She's been kicked off committees because the board up there, left-wing board, doesn't like her speech, doesn't like her conservative speech and opinions. So we're saying that's a First Amendment right, too. Dr. Jensen can't be investigated the whole election, and Polly Sorkin can't be kept off committees because you don't like her point of view.
I love that. That's what I'm saying. You are in the mix on all this. We talk about a lot of it. I have to go to break. Yeah. When we come back, what I'd love to talk with you about, if we can, and I don't know if this is under your purview or not, but the state of Minnesota is suing I think it's the federal government, or maybe it's vice versa. They want in on those two shootings in Minnesota, right? The ICE shootings.
Yes.
They want to do the investigation. Basically, the federal government said, no, not your business. Can we talk about that and where that stands legally?
Sure.
Oh, appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
I am going to get my law degree. Every other week, I'm getting a little bit of a chunk of it. I get it from Doug Seaton. He is my guy. It's the Upper Midwest Law Center. More right after this.
Are you tired of government overreach and the constant threat to your constitutional rights? The Upper Midwest Law Center is your legal sword and shield. We're a nonprofit law firm fighting every day to defend free speech, religious liberty, and the rule of law. We secure landmark victories that restore school neutrality, protect property rights, and hold government accountable. Our mission is to ensure liberty endures for all Minnesotans. So if you or your business is facing a constitutional violation, we want to hear from you. Learn more and support our work at umlc.org. Don't need to ask him his opinion more than once. Al Travis on The Al Travis Show.
We've got him, Doug Seaton. He's the head guy at Upper Midwest Law Center, and we're getting our free law degree. I just love this. Going on here in the state, Doug, if I can, obviously we had the two shootings during the ICE incident, and the federal government comes in and says, federal agents, our business will take care of this. I believe Minnesota sued to get in on the investigation. Is that something you can sue for? Can I sue to put my note? I don't know how this goes. Who's going to win this? Is Minnesota allowed because it happened in Minnesota to take charge, or is it a federal thing because it was a federal agent? Where does this go?
Well, it is somewhat unprecedented to see a fight like this. There are times when there are overlapping jurisdictions, and this is one. But certainly, I think the feds have a plausible case to say these are federal officers in the course of their duties, or maybe outside them, somebody would say.
Yeah.
But anyway, while performing their jobs in the course of their employment. And so, yes, that is a federal jurisdiction to look into that. They've got the evidence. Do they have to give it up to the state? The state will say yes. The feds will say no. But I think there's a plausible argument for the federal government that this is their business right now. Now, I have to say, we've ended up after this terrible, terrible situation and the horrible deaths in the right place. We are where we should have been to start with, and that is without an agreement, because they won't say they have an agreement, but the state authorities and hopefully local authorities are actually going to be cooperating with ICE to the extent of letting them know when they've got criminal illegal aliens being released, so that they can actually pick them up in a controlled atmosphere in a jail or prison or courtroom, and they don't have to be chasing around in the streets and creating these terrible scenes that don't have to happen. They don't have to. They only happen because of the lack of cooperation. So we finally got into a good place. That's a good thing. And shame on our state authorities for having made that impossible up to now. And I would say causing these deaths because of the mayhem that came about because of the incitement of people resisting ICE. But in any event, yes, I think as far as the investigation goes, it will be played out. There will be a battle about it. They're not going to give up on the state side either, but I think the feds are right about this. There are a lot of other points of contention like this. They're fighting over transgender rights between the state and the federal government. They're fighting over the voter rolls and who gets them and who gets to look at them. So we've got a lot of this contention going on. But my starting point is we got a federal system here. We've got authorities that are defined, state and federal, and sometimes we got a supremacy clause too that says where there's a conflict, the federal jurisdiction wins.
Well, let me throw one more at you, the more local here, so it isn't necessarily a jurisdictional problem. Department of Human Services was asked, I didn't even tell you if we can talk, because it just came up. Department of Human Services had to come out. This Optum Health got involved. They're going to show us how we can do things better, where we're losing all this money in the Department of Human Services. They sent out the report today, and according to the Star Tribune, it's mostly redacted. And they said, hey, we can't give this information out. You guys are going to ruin our strategic plan to keep people from robbing us, which is why we're looking into it in the first place. My point is maybe they don't have to show Al. Right, I'm a knucklehead. I talk about it on the air. They don't want to do that. I get it. But don't elected officials, shouldn't somebody be allowed to see the whole truth? I mean, we paid Optum to come up with this report. Can't we read it to find out how to get things better? And they said no.
They certainly should unredact it for at least certain people. Now, we've got a fraud committee chaired by Kristen Robbins, also running for governor, as you know. And that committee needs to have this information in order to do its job in the legislature to create the law and amend the law so that we don't have these terrible frauds. $9 billion worth, says the former U.S. attorney. So we don't have these things happening again. So yes, you're right. It has to be accessible from by the people who have to make decisions about how we fix this problem.
See, but this is back to you guys and your frustrating. So it is the legislature who wants the information. It is the Walz administration, if you will, saying we don't want to give it to you because it'll, top secret stuff here. Is this another case where the Supreme Court 6 years from now will say, oh, by the way, you're right. What's good doing a $2 million report if we're not going to show anybody the answer? Is that how that's going to come out?
Well, I certainly hope not. And this is one case where, because it's going to be framed within a political campaign this year for the elections, you hope there's a way to address it politically. That isn't always true, and it isn't always pretty, but that's hopefully what's going to happen, short of it having to take another several years to get resolved in the courts.
Is there a way? I want to get you involved. So I'm upset. So it's just another one of these deals I get to jump in. Can I jump in and say my tax money via Governor Walz went to pay Optum to tell us what's wrong with my state, and I'm good with that until they come out and say, but you don't get to know what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Am I a plaintiff, or does this have to... Oh, so there's somebody listening to do that.
It's tricky because taxpayers have standing in certain respects to fight over things, but only what the courts have generally said, and we're not sure we agree with that, but that's what they've said so far. Taxpayers have standing only when the taxpayer complaining has a particular injury about the situation.
Just my taxes isn't enough.
Just taxes seems like it's not enough, at least to the courts. Now, they don't, they want to keep the courts clean and tidy and not jammed up. We understand that. But we think taxpayers' standing should be broader than it's sometimes said to be. But there does have to be a particular injury so far for us to get there. Now, that means parents in a school district who are taxpayers also, but parents of students have a particular injury sometimes when we're fighting over whether they can put up Black Lives Matter propaganda in the hallways and not put anything else up people want up. Yeah. That gives them a particular injury that they can say, we've got standing. That's why we won the Cajun case in Lakeville, and we're able to get rid of those Black Lives Matter posters. So it takes particular injury for the taxpayer to get a day in court on these issues. I'm
running up to the heartbreak. I'm going to have to go, Doug. I appreciate you a ton. If somebody thinks they've been injured that way, they go to Upper Midwest Law Center, UMLC.org, and they can send you an email. You'll go over that? It doesn't cost anything.
We're happy to answer anybody. I just did some this morning, and we will always get people some direction, whether it's a case or not. Yes, we'll help.
And if you love what Doug is doing like I do, Upper Midwest Law Center, on the top of the page, UMLC.org, hit the donate button. Doug, thank you very much. I'm out of time. We'll talk to you.
Al. Good to be
Upper
with
Midwest Law Center. Oh, our pleasure.
That's the Court Report with the Upper Midwest Law Center, with some insights into mission.
Thank you, sir. You're the best.
Great to be with you, Al. You take
Always a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
How you can support their fight, visit umlc.org. We'll see you in 2 weeks for the next